Once upon a time, in a land of rolling green hills and sparkling streams, lived a young shepherd boy named Leo. Every morning, as the sun painted the sky with shades of pink and gold, Leo would lead his fluffy sheep to the best grazing spots. He didn't have much, just a simple tunic, a wooden flute, and a heart full of kindness. His best friend was a little lamb named Pip, who had a coat as white as fresh snow. One sunny afternoon, while Leo played a sweet melody on his flute, a grand carriage thundered down the dusty road. Inside sat a young boy about Leo's age, dressed in fine silks and jewels. This was Prince Jasper, the son of the king. He looked bored and grumpy. Seeing Leo with his sheep, Prince Jasper scoffed. "Look at that raggedy shepherd boy! What a boring life!" He sneered, tossing a half-eaten apple core that landed right on Pip's head. Pip bleated in surprise. Leo rushed to comfort his little friend, gently wiping the dirt from his wool. He looked up at the prince, not with anger, but with a sad smile. He picked up the apple core and placed it by a tree for the ants. He didn't shout or throw anything back. He simply went back to playing his flute, its gentle music seeming to soothe the very air. Prince Jasper, surprised by the lack of an angry reaction, just grumbled and ordered his carriage to move on. The seasons changed, and winter arrived, blanketing the hills in a thick layer of snow. Food became scarce for the animals of the forest. Leo, noticing the hungry birds and squirrels, started leaving out handfuls of his own grain and breadcrumbs every day. He even built little shelters for them from branches and leaves. His own flock was well cared for, snug in their pen, but his heart went out to the wild creatures struggling in the cold. He shared what little he had without expecting anything in return. Meanwhile, in the grand castle, things were not well. A terrible sickness had swept through the kingdom, and the king himself had fallen gravely ill. The royal physicians tried every remedy they knew, but nothing worked. The king grew weaker each day. Prince Jasper was frantic. He loved his father and was terrified of losing him. The royal herald announced a great reward for anyone who could find a cure, the legendary sun petal flower, which was said to grow only on the highest, most treacherous peak of the Crystal Mountains. Many brave knights and wealthy lords set out on the quest, dreaming of glory and riches. They rode strong horses and carried shiny swords, but the Crystal Mountains were unforgiving. One by one, they returned, defeated by blizzards and treacherous paths. Leo heard the news from a traveling merchant. His heart ached for the sick king and the worried prince. He thought not of the reward, but of the chance to help. He knew the Crystal Mountains better than anyone, having guided his sheep to their lower slopes in the summer. He decided he had to try. He packed a small bag with bread, cheese, and a warm blanket. He made sure his sheep were safe and warm, gave Pip an extra hug, and set off towards the towering peaks, his sturdy shepherd's crook in hand. The journey was harder than anything Leo had ever done. Icy winds howled around him, and the snow was so deep he sometimes sank to his waist. He was cold, tired, and lonely. But then he remembered the little birds he had fed. A small flock of them appeared, chirping encouragement and guiding him along safer paths, away from hidden crevices. He remembered the squirrels he had sheltered, and they appeared too, chattering and showing him where to find dry wood for a small, life-saving fire. His past acts of kindness were coming back to guide him after many days of climbing. He reached the summit, and there it was, bathed in a soft, golden light, a single flower with petals that shimmered like the sun itself. The sun petal. Carefully, Leo plucked the flower and placed it safely in a small pouch. The journey down was just as difficult, but the thought of helping the king gave him strength. As he neared the castle, exhausted and covered in snow, he stumbled. A figure rushed out from the shadows of the trees. It was Prince Jasper. He had been wandering the forest, overcome with worry. He saw the glowing pouch in Leo's hand, and his eyes widened. Is that the sun petal?" he asked, his voice trembling. Leo nodded, too tired to speak. The prince's face, which had always been scornful, was now filled with desperation. "Please," he begged, "give it to me. I must save my father." Leo looked at the prince. He remembered the apple core, the snaring words. He could have refused. He could have demanded the reward. But that wasn't Leo's way. He saw not a prince who had been mean to him, but a son who was afraid of losing his father. With a gentle smile, Leo held out the pouch. "Of course," he said softly. "Let's go to Mdot together." Prince Jasper was stunned into silence. He took the pouch, his eyes filled with a mixture of relief and shame. He looked at Leo's worn-out clothes and kind face, and for the first time, he saw the shepherd boy's true worth. Together, they hurried to the king's chamber. The royal physicians prepared a tea from the sun petal flower. The king drank it, and within hours, color returned to his cheeks. By the next morning, he was sitting up in bed, his strength returning. The entire kingdom rejoiced. The king called for the one who had brought the cure. Prince Jasper stepped forward, but he didn't take the credit. He brought Leo with him, holding his arm. In front of the entire court, the prince bowed his head. "Father," he said, his voice clear and strong, "it was not I who saved you. It was this brave shepherd, Leo. He faced the crystal mountains when no one else could, and he is the boy I was once very unkind to. He had every reason to hate me, but instead, he showed me forgiveness and helped us all." The prince turned to Leo. "Leo," he said, "I am truly sorry for how I treated you. Can you ever forgive me?" Leo smiled his warm, gentle smile. "There's nothing to forgive, Prince Jasper. I am just happy your father is well." The king was deeply moved by the story. He saw the true nobility in Leo's heart. A heart so full of kindness and forgiveness is rarer than any jewel, the king declared. "Leo, you have the character of a true prince. I wish to adopt you as my own son. You and Jasper shall rule this kingdom together as brothers." And so, the little shepherd boy became a prince. He and Prince Jasper became the best of friends, ruling the kingdom with fairness and compassion for many, many years. Leo never forgot his humble beginnings. He made sure all the people and animals in his kingdom were always cared for. He taught everyone that the greatest treasure isn't gold or a crown, but a kind and forgiving heart. And he and Pip, the little lamb, lived happily ever after in the grand castle, which was now filled not just with riches, but with true warmth and love. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.